Hello. Okay, we are going to recap the next show. So I'm Sam at IFBB Bikini Pro, and let's talk about the other shows happening this weekend. Okay, where do we start? So we have Optimum, Miami, the Everest Muscle Games, and then I think Kansas City is the last one. Kansas City. Okay, let's start with the Kansas City Natural Show, which I teased in my last video, and then I had to go on a work call and then play with a few dogs. Okay, so we have three people. Ashley Downs, Alexandra Leeper, and Bella Stendera. Okay, so what do I think? Let's look at these people. So let's start with Alexandra Leeper. So she just competed at the Vegas Natural Show that happened, and we didn't talk about her, I don't think, because she was not in the top five. So when I look at Alexandra Leeper, beautiful stage presence. She always has very pretty hair, makeup, all that. The thing that stands out to me is, okay, she's a little bit too straight on. So, what I would do with this pose is I think the number one thing is she just needs a little more size because she kind of needs to outwork this like the width of her waist. So if she can bring up her proportions like her delts and her glutes, it will give her a little bit better of an hourglass shape. But I think there are some easy things she can do with her posing too that will help her because I mean she has a great stage vibe, but let's look at what she could do. So if she arched her back a little bit, it looks like her pelvis is tucked, which is giving us a little bit of folding under this glute here. So if she could arch her low back, keeping her upper body like it is for the most part, angling her waist away so I see less of her abdomen area, then I think that would help her. Her arm positioning is pretty good. Yeah, but also since she needs a little more shoulder development to get these ratios, then I probably wouldn't cover up that back shoulder with the hair because it minimizes the shoulders even further. So I would get the hair off of the shoulders. And then long term, a little bit more detail in the core would be great. She looks a little bit washed out here. Maybe she just like spilled over at this show. I'm not sure. But yeah. And then the easiest thing that she could, well, easiest thing she do is like those posing things, but something else she could do is a different suit color. So black is not, it's not bad, but it doesn't do anyone any favors, and it does, the risk outweighs the reward in most cases. I was going to say it doesn't do anything against them, but it kind of does because it doesn't pop off her skin. So if she could wear like a brighter color, which I believe she has in the past, let's look at some of her show history. Yeah, like this purple, that would be much better. And then her front pose at this Mile High show was better. So let's look at what she was doing with this front pose here. So yeah, she looks a little bit more angled away. She just needs a little more upper outer glute and some more fullness to her shoulders. So yeah, where did she go pro? Let's see. Is it even listed? Okay, I don't know where she went pro. And then looking at her back pose, the back pose. Okay, here she is. Okay, so the glutes look very full, it looks great, but she's leaned so far forward and has her hair covering her shoulders that we lose all shoulder width. So she looks like all hip width here and no upper body. So I'd have her stand up a little taller in this upper back, get the hair off of the shoulders and like spread her lats a little bit because she's very closed off in the upper body. Okay, in who else do we have? Okay. Then we have Ashley Downs. So here is Ashley. The suit color, this pops off of her. So this is like what I want to see for Alexandra. And she is really close with her front pose here. So if she could keep her core tight, she's losing the core a little bit, and then not be hunched over like this. So a lot of people think that that projection in the upper outer glute comes from arching the back, but where they make the mistake with arching the back is pushing back into the hip and leaning their upper body forward. So they're tilted like you see here. So if she could just stand up nice and tall, open these shoulders so this one isn't kind of dragging down a bit, then that would really help her shape. And then overall, just a little bit more size, but she looks like she's having a great time. That's exactly what we want. The makeup could be a little bit more glam. Like it looks like there's some uneveness with the bronzer here. But the tan looks really good, and she clearly has the confidence needed to shine on stage. So love that for her. Looking at her back pose. So I think she's trying to make up for a little bit of a lack of glute fullness by like squatting into these knees here. So what she needs is just more glute overall. She's leaning her upper body back, so if she could push her upper body forward, like in between what she's doing now and what Alexandra was doing, then she won't look so wide up top and narrow on bottom. So if she could arch her back, pushing those glutes towards us, and lean the upper body forward and just develop lower body a little bit more, then I think she is good. And then she could run a brush through the hair. But it looks like she like yeah, okay, I thought that was maybe her pro debut. No, okay, it wasn't. Okay, and then we have Bella. So here is Bella. This is a beautiful shape. Like she could bring the arm in a little bit tighter, but this lower body, gorgeous. I think she's going to be winning the show. And then probably it's a toss up between Alexandra and Ashley. Hard to say. Back pose, this is crazy. So she could flare her legs less, like angle her toes out less, because her quad is overpowering that glute. But this is really beautiful shoulder width, really full glutes, the same conditioning, but just a little more muscle, which I'm sure she has by now because she went pro in 2023. She's there. I think it's her show. So good luck, everyone. I'm excited. Okay, let's talk about Everest. So we have Everest Muscle Games. And I just pulled up the people who I think are the biggest threats. So Lorena, there's no photos for the show she just did, the Poland show, but she got second place. And then Victoria won the show. So Victoria's already Olympia qualified. It is her rookie season. She just went pro like a couple months ago. So I think it's going to be okay, well, let's just go over it. So Lorena, I don't have any recent photos to show you. Like October is the last show she did that had photos taken at it, unfortunately. So you can go look at my reviews of like, or my preview of this show. I talk about Lorena there, but it's just a matter of her getting that conditioning consistent and having those polishing details. So like having the hair be polished, the suit color be a little bit more flattering. Yeah, yeah. And streamlining the conditioning. Okay, so there's Lorena. And then Victoria, Tyler said that she pretty much has it all. She'll just need a little bit more glute depth because he reviewed the show. She could pose this a little bit softer, but maybe she did at her last show where she qualified. But I would have her bring this arm in a little bit tighter to her, not open up quite as much because she's more dominant on the upper body and lower body. So if she could angle that shoulder away a little bit or just not pull it around as hard, and then straighten this leg slightly so we aren't getting this big gap of negative space in between the legs, then I think that would help her. But long term, just more glute. So if I were her, like do the show, sure, but try to put on some more size before the Olympia because she like has a lot of incredible attributes for the Olympia stage. So I'm very excited. And then here she's tight in these hamstrings. And I think she had to get this tight to get her glutes to pop. So just some more overall density to the glutes. And then I think she's there, like more density to the glutes and the hamstrings. And then I think she's like got a pretty competitive package for any show she does. But yeah, those are the things she'll want to work on in the meantime. Could she open up the lats a little bit to get more hourglass shape from the back? Sure, but she's probably making the right move since she does not have the glutes yet to be like super competitive against like an Ashley Kaltwasser or something. But beautiful, like glam, she has it all. I love the suit color. Like she has it all. Like she is very fierce on stage. She has great stage presence. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens there. Okay, then we have Octavia. So Octavia has been in the Olympia before multiple times. She has a really stellar front pose. Where I think she gets into trouble is just a mismatch in her conditioning. So usually she's a little bit harder in the upper body and softer in the lower body, but she has a beautiful look that I am obsessed with. I love seeing her compete. What could she use? My boyfriend just come. A little more detail on this core, I think would help her out, and some more projection on this upper outer glute. Because she just has like crazy proportions in the upper body, but it doesn't match totally in the bottom. So if she had a more extreme upper outer glute, that would really it would kind of like seal the deal for her like winning shows consistently. Maybe yeah. Okay, and then in her back pose, same thing, probably a little more upper outer glute, relax the arms a bit, straighten them a little bit more. Yeah, and just like having conditioning be consistent from front to back, I think would be helpful for her. Also, the suit color, this dark teal, I love a dark teal, but since she already has a harder physique in general, then I think a softer color would work a little bit better on her, like some shade of what I don't know, maybe even just a royal blue. There's something a little bit too deep about this color for me, like the almost black base of the teal. So something a little more saturated through and through rather than something that leans black in the base. And then we have Alina. So Alina has done a pro show before. She got second place at her pro debut. Um, and yeah, what does she need? I mean, she got sixth place at the Prague show last year, but before that, she had gotten second place at her pro debut. So let's look at Romania because the photos are more straight on. She has a gorgeous look, great shape. I would wear a more saturated color than this. Again, like no black, but really great fullness. What she'll probably need is just some more overall muscle so she doesn't come off looking too hard. Because she does seem to lean like a little bit in that direction, but she has a great like pop and roundness to her muscle bellies. So I think she could be in contention to win this show. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. And she has a really, really bubbly, full glutes that are a big standout. She could use a little more overall glute size, but still, she's very balanced from top to bottom. So it's not like totally hurting her that she could use a little bit bigger of glutes. Most people could use bigger glutes in this sport. So yeah, really great shape from the back here and really great pop, especially in this back pose. Okay, Antonia Patterson. Peterson. She was just at the Olympia. She has a really beautiful hourglass shape. She looks like someone who doesn't need that much muscle to hit the standard for bikini. Could she be a little bit fuller? Yes. But I don't even know if she needs like significantly more muscle than she had here. I think she just could have stood to fill out a little bit more. She also doesn't look like she has much glow to her skin. Like maybe the glaze just soaked in, like she got glazed too early. So it is only really showing here on this leg. But really great physique, great hair and makeup. Sue, again, it leans toward that black base, so I would like something a little more saturated, but really, really beautiful look. And then from the back, crazy glutes, a little bit hard in these hamstrings though. So if we just get more fullness all around, then I would be able to determine better if I think she needs more size than she has. But this is a great taper into the waist too. And then we have Anna. So Anna's competed a few times this season, getting like second and third places. She has been to the Olympia before, and for her, I think I've said it before, I think it's just she structurally is not as just like naturally curvy as someone like Jen Dory, who just has a crazy tiny waist and like wide shoulders and wide hips. So she is one of those people that just kind of needs to build to like get those proportions. Most people do, but to a certain extent. But yeah, she could just get more pop in this upper outer glute in the front pose. I think that would help her out. Um, Again, I like green on her, but I'd want like a more saturated green. Her glutes are crazy. And they almost steal the show for me in the back. So I wonder if the fact that they're a little bit distracting to me is a red flag for the judges, like something is standing out when they don't want anything to stand out. But I won't say too much about her because there aren't any recent pictures. I've talked about her in shows before this season. Okay, Allison Testu. So I would love to see Allison win. Will she? I'm not sure. I think she's shown some of her best looks yet this season. Love the red on her. Really great pop and fullness in this front pose. The only thing that like even Tyler has said is just this upper outer glute in her back pose. It just reads as a teeny bit flat, which is so rude to say because obviously she has very full glutes. And he also said her hair was covering. So yeah, if she could just polish the hair a little bit and get more fullness somehow to these glutes, and maybe a different suit cut would help. It's hard to say. I would love to see her win the show, but will she? I don't know. The real threat at this show, or at least who I'm excited to see, so she just went pro a few weeks ago. This was her look. She has a crazy shape, and it's her pro debut, and I think she could win this show. Look at the width, the tiny waist, the fullness in in all the right muscle bellies. Conditioning matches from top to bottom. You see that kiss of detail in the waist, which I think really brings everything together on these athletes. effortless hair flip. A lot of people like struggle and get off balance with that. Keeps her glutes high, fullness matching within the upper body and the lower. So I think she is my pick to win. So I would say her. And then I think it's going to be tight between, I mean, I think she is more all the way put together than Victoria even. So I'm going to say her, what's her name? Bao? Okay, I'll say Bao. And then probably Victoria, Lorena. So a repeat of the last show, the Kokanee show. And then even Alina. Alina is very comparable with Victoria, I think, because they both seem like they're on the taller side. So yeah, I'll say that. And then Anna. Well, Antonia. I don't know. Okay, I'll say in my top three are Antonia might even just be more put together than Victoria. My first place is Bao. And then I feel like I have to say Antonia because she like was just at the Olympia. I don't know. But I think Victoria might be ahead of her. And then Lorena might be in a fifth place spot. I don't know. Those are my top people. Those are my top people. Okay. And then we have, what is this one that I keep pulling up? Okay, then we have Miami. Okay, we have Miami and Optimum. Okay, I'm going to start with Optimum and end with Miami. So at Optimum, we have a bunch of big names, a lot of people I think could be in this top five, top 10, but I'm just going to talk about the people who I think are like the biggest people to watch out for. So Brianna, she has placed second twice in a row at the only show she's done this season. And then we have, I'm going to go in order almost. Okay, Brittany, I think they're going to be in contention. And then Eureka, I love Eureka. So I'll talk about her, even though I don't think she did as hot at the Charlotte show that she did at the Ashkat. Oh, wait, sorry. That's the wrong person. Here's Eureka. Where is she? Okay, yeah. So fourth at Japan. Okay, so let's first talk about Brianna. So I have now been following Brianna, and her hair looks exactly the same off stage as it does on stage. So no wonder she always nails it. It looks really good. I love this look. She gets very like goth. Will pull you, she's like come up beneath a grave and like pull you in and suck you into the underworld vibes. Love that. Love that. So okay, let's talk about her front pose. When does she get into her front pose? So I've talked about her before. Um, what do I think? I think she has a great shape, like great proportions. The only issue, like, love the hair and makeup, love the stage vibe, love the red on her. What would I say? The arm could be brought in tighter. I think we're losing some of that shape to the delt with it so far away. So the arm could be tighter. It would also give her better hourglass. My only holdouts with her are like, is her conditioning going to be a little too much? Probably not if she's up there with Brittany Gillespie, which is what I'm like envisioning. Probably because I'm biased and I really like Brittany. But Brittany usually comes in with a similar amount of conditioning. She has come in bursting full, but she still has very visible lines when she's super full. So I think those two will be pretty comparable to each other. And then the back pose, I think, is where Brie has had a hard time next to like Emmy, who she has like gotten second to twice this season. Sorry not to I'm like who's yet again, by the way, she got second. I don't mean it like that. But just a little more fullness on this upper outer glue, I think would really like definitely get her into that top spot. Last season, Brittany was told she needed more glute, so like maybe they will be on a similar level with that. And either way, it's not going to be the person who has the biggest glutes who wins the show. It's going to be whoever has the best balance and overall conditioning and stage presence. I would say she and Brittany are pretty similar with their stage presence. Probably Brie is even a little bit better than Brittany because Brittany, I just want to see that like excitement to be there come through, and she's a lot more reserved with her posing. Like she doesn't smile as much. She smiles when it really counts, like when she hits those poses, but I would like to see more excitement overall with her. But great roundness in the shoulders from Brie. If we could like even just cut the excess string a bit so it doesn't pop out of the hair like this, that would be like just an extra little polishing thing. Is it going to be a make or break? No. That's just like personal opinion on like what would elevate it like that little bit more. She really doesn't have like much to improve from what she is going to be working with at this show. So yeah, I would say that just for upper outer glute. If she had a bigger suit cut, it might hide the fact that she's a little bit lacking in that upper outer glute. Like if it covered more here, so if she pulled it down in the back and up in the front a little bit, we'd get more like roundness to the glute here. Right now it's almost looking pointy just because it is up high in the back. So let's see what it looks like in the front pose, like if she could even stand to pull it up in the front. Yeah, it goes pretty low. So she could definitely wear this exact same suit, but pull it up in the front and down in the back, and she would get better shape to her glutes overall. But has a tight waist, very good presence. Yeah, rooting for Brie. Okay, Brittany, the photos of the show were absolutely atrocious. Okay, so Brittany has gotten second, or she got second at the show. Brittany is always like a wild card for me in terms of replacing because like she has great fullness to all of her muscle belly. She has one of the freakiest physiques in the IFBB. Hair looks gorgeous here, like the red on her. I probably prefer the lilacs. I think she just really stands out with it. I can't even stand to look at these pictures. Sorry, we have to look at a different picture. Okay, this is my favorite look Brie has brought thus far, and I believe it's hers too. Not Brie, Brittany. And if she brings this level of conditioning, then she's very comparable to Brie. This is like how conditioned Brie looked at Wasatch and at the San Diego show she did. So if they both bring this conditioning, then they will be very comparable. Like similar amount of like vascularity showing in the arms, detail in the leg, pretty similar. Like Brie has this like indentation here. Brittany, same thing. Not everyone has that showing at shows. So yeah, I thought this was Brittany's best look. Brittany is one of my absolute faves, and this suit just really pops off for her. I would like to see more roundness to the shoulder here. We kind of lose it. I'm sure that was for a reason, but I don't know. I think her pose is better when you can see that same like leveling of the shoulders. It gives her a better hourglass shape, like Brie has right here. Good, I got the name right. So yeah, love the hair and makeup. This is just, I'm obsessed with this look. But that's what I mean about Brittany. Like her placings are pretty hit and miss. She's qualified for the Olympia. She's gotten second, but then she'll like vacillate between like seventh and first place, So like she's gotten seventh, a lot of fourth places. So yeah, they're just, I think, trying to play with her look, see what fits her best. Like, look at this. Look at this hourglass shape. Like, I am absolutely obsessed with Brittany. So yeah, I don't know. I'm obsessed. Okay, back pose. Look at, yeah, the fullness and projection in these glutes. So they told her more glutes, so I can see why they said that because Brittany has more narrow hips, so her legs can look the same width as her glutes. So she brings up her glutes. Not only will she get even more projection than she has now, but she'll get more differentiation between the glutes and the legs. She looks like she's having a little imbalance here. Maybe she's not fully settled into the pose. Okay, maybe she was transitioning because, yeah, this shoulder's a little bit more pinched in and this hip is a little bit higher. So if she could just do a little body work to get that figured out, I think that would help. But yeah, I think they will be very comparable. If those are a top two, I think they'll be very comparable. Okay, then we have Eureka. She's one of my faves. She has placed 12th at the Olympia before in 2022. Fucking love her hourglass shape. Makeup could always be a little more glam with her. It usually looks a little bit oily. Like she has a gorgeous, gorgeous mug, gorgeous physique, great shape, like very polished, great stage presence, like really looks like she's having so much fun being on stage. Like I love everything about Eureka. The makeup could just be a little bit more glam. Like it just looks like her natural oils are coming too much to the surface. Maybe her foundation itself is too dewy, but just more glam here. She might even be able to wear a bigger suit top. It's not like my number one thing I would do, but yeah, I think this is a really great pose. It might almost be too X frame for the judges, or like her glute is not big enough to get enough projection to like make this more hourglass. So she could angle her shoulders a little bit away. So I see less of this back shoulder, and then she might get more of that like traditional S curve like we see on an Amy Delgado. Amy also covers her shoulder with her hair, but yeah, I love Eureka. Big fan. And then her back pose, I should have brought water up here, man. Okay, her back pose, yeah. So her bottoms always expose like a little bit too much, like they're just too small. So if she had more coverage, like a bigger cut, she would get more roundness and shape to her glutes. But this cut kind of takes away from the shape of her glutes. Like they look more shallow because it's like getting pointy there, like we were talking about with Brie's suit. So if she could pull it down in the back, up in the front, she would get more shape to the glutes. But long term, it's just going to be more projection in the glutes, period. So, and she's done an incredible job with her glutes. Look at her glutes in Oh, okay. Her name used to be something else. So let me type it in. Sorry, Eureka. Maybe she doesn't want her old last name being talked about. Okay. So here is when she went pro. She has put like a crazy amount of size onto her glutes since she went pro. It is seriously so impressive. That was her glutes then. And then look at her glutes. I don't know, even at Japan, like that was a huge amount of progress she made. I probably shouldn't pull up 2023, but honestly, whatever. Yeah, look at the amount of fullness she has brought to her glutes since then. Amazing. So yeah, Eureka is someone to watch out for. Sierra, she has not been doing so hot this season or last season. She did not qualify for the Olympia last year, but she has in the past. She got second twice last year, both times to Ashley Kay. So those shows are also just smaller. So it'll be good for her to be at like a bigger show like this with some bigger names um to see like kind of where she lands, but I thought this suit color was just a little bit too light on her, and it kind of softened up her conditioning further. I don't mind. She usually is a little bit harder, so I don't mind that she's like trying to soften up the look a little bit, but like could use more glam in the makeup. I really like Sierra. Her tan looks really good. And she is just another one of those people with a more up and down structure where you really need to pack on some size to get those proportions that they want in bikini. But great stage presence, seems like a very cool person. And yeah, I'll be curious to see how she did this weekend. And she competed like last year with injuries and still was like getting second place. So she's a warrior. And more upper outer glue, I would say, just to get more shape and projection from the back. And then we have Kiki. So Kiki has pretty consistently been in that like top 10 in the past couple years, mainly top 5. So here she was at her most recent show. She totally fixed the suit top thing that I had been talking about, so there was no underboob. The only issue with her posing was just that she kept covering her glute in this front pose. Obviously, like her eyes are closed there, but she was doing it even when her eyes were open. So yeah, if she could just not cover that up, because it's a really great attribute she has in this front pose. Yeah, so I think she'll definitely be in that top 5. Her conditioning has been super on point, super consistent this year. She's been just really doing great. So it's cool to see someone like Kiki just make such major leaps every year, but a little more upper glute, and she would be a lot more balanced from this back pose. And then we have Ilaria. So I've talked about Ilaria a lot. She just placed at 14th at the not Olympia, at the New York Pro. I didn't mean to laugh like she couldn't get to the Olympia. I mean, that's not what I meant. I just meant it's not the Olympia, it was the New York Pro. Great front pose. I don't know if she's fully posed there. Usually her front pose is really great. It looks like she was kind of sloping that shoulder down though. So yeah, I would like level the shoulders a bit. But really great conditioning. It's like spot on what judges want. The makeup is unclockable, looks perfect. Love the red on her. She's been wearing more of a teal, which I think is good on her. But I would say, again, something a little more saturated than the teal, and maybe not red because everyone seems to be wearing red. So what could Ilaria do in this back pose? She could lean her upper body more forward because this width is a little bit too wide compared to the glute width. So if she leaned her upper body forward by like 1 or 2 inches, she would get better proportions and symmetry between top and bottom. Conditioning is spot on. Hair is a little bit long. It's covering those glutes. And especially since she needs a little more shape in these upper outer glutes, then you really don't want to cover what you do have with the hair. But Ilaria, beautiful stage presence. She has been absolutely slaying. Like, look at this attitude she has. And she looks like she's having a great time. So love Ilaria. Very excited for her. And look at this. Oh, a scam is calling me. Okay, I hung up on them. Oh my gosh, it's still ringing. Stop it. Okay, so yeah, Ilaria, love. Beautiful shape. Beautiful shape. Okay. And then we have, okay, Marioli. So she's pretty consistently in that top 10. She's gotten top 5s consistently in the past before too. Really great shape. I think she'll be in the top 10. I've talked about her in a couple shows already, so I won't go too far into it. Pink, I don't think is a bad idea, but it could, because she is like a little bit on the harder side. But I would probably get more coverage in this top because we're seeing a lot of exposed skin. And then in the back pose, she has a really, really great back pose. And for her, it's just going to be continuing to put a little bit more density and fullness on these glutes so she doesn't get too hard in the hamstrings. But love her look. Could also slide her hands in so those shoulders don't round off and look like the same roundness as her arm. You want those shoulder caps to like be separate from the arm and taper down into it. So if she brought her hands in closer to her inner leg here and straightened them, she would get better pop there and better hourglass shape from the back. And then we have, okay, then we have Chantel. Love Chantel. Talked about her before. For her, it's probably going to be more overall density of the physique. She always brings stage presence. Her suit color always looks pretty. Tan always looks good. Conditioning is always consistent across her entire physique. Like, she really is a very solid, predictable competitor in those ways. Like, she consistently does very well. And she has those, like, show-stopping long glute insertions. At this show, I think she could have been a little tighter. But since she's so tall, and when you're tall, you have a longer muscle belly, so you can look stringier faster. So she might have come in this full just so she didn't look like skinny. But yeah, Chantel, if she's supposed to have another layer of overall density, which I'm sure she doesn't want to hear because it's very hard to put on that much muscle when you are so tall, to like compare well against shorter people, because like double the space to fill out. But yeah, I think that is what's standing in the way of her getting an Olympia qualification. And then we have, oh, okay. Okay, she's placed third before, so I've talked about her before, but Rachel Linares, really great shape, could bring that arm in so it's not rounding, and just could be a little bit tighter at this show. It looks like she got a 10th at this show at Charlotte. But stage presence is very pretty, like the presentation is pretty. I mean, I probably wouldn't do this braid of hair for the same reasons I always talk about. It just kind of washes out. But yeah, a little bit tighter here. Conditioning, it looks like these are the right shapes, but it's just a little too full in these legs here. And then, okay, Tiana. So Tiana, she is consistently placing in that top five, despite not having as much muscle as a lot of the other people. So that is a really like great sign. That means she's like, just getting started. If she had a little more density in these glutes, I think that would help her. Also, if she brought her arm in tighter, I think that would help her. She also is a longer limb, so when she does a lot with the arms, it can be kind of distracting. And I'm a long-limbed lady myself, but like, yeah, if she did a little bit less with the arms, I think it would be a little less distracting. Because she has excellent flow, like she's a posing coach and a great one. Really beautiful fullness to her physique. Love the suit color. Hair and makeup is always on point. She refines every single show. She is always somebody to be looking out for in these lineups. And I think in the next few years, she will be someone who's consistently doing very well. But yeah, in the back pose, shoulder, upper body looks great. Just a little bit more fullness in these glutes. And then she's really going to match from top to bottom. And I'm excited for that. So, okay, who do I think is going to place where? So I think it's going to be between Brittany and Brie. I lean towards saying Brittany will win only because she's been to the Olympia before and because her shape is so shocking that it's like hard to look away from. But I think that's also something that hurts her. Like I think that's something that gets her into that seventh place, So I think it's a toss up between these two. I would not be surprised if either of them won. Both are, look incredible. Both totally deserve a win. So yeah, it's going to be a toss up between those two for me. And then Eureka, I hate to say, but she might be in that fifth spot again. I would love her to be higher. I would love her to win the show too. Like I'm a big fan of her, but I think it will be Eureka, Chantel, Brittany, and Brie in that, and Tiana in the first call out. So I'm gonna say I think Brittany just has Brie in the glutes a little bit, but I'm not gonna count Brie out. But so okay, I'll just go off of that. So Brittany, Brie. Oh, oops, was that Eureka? Okay, well Eureka. Third, and then, but I think Eureka could win, but I'm gonna say third. And then, who did I X out? Okay. And then Chantel in fourth, and then Tiana in fifth, if not beating Chantel for fourth. So yeah, those are my guesses. Okay. And it's just who shows up on the day. Like, the predictions are honestly worthless. Like, everyone could go anywhere. So yeah, okay, let's get into probably the second or first most exciting show this weekend, Miami. Okay, Miami. So, huge list. So let's get into, okay, I want to show you, oh, I probably can. Okay, so Kylie Tibbetts, Kylie Solomon now. Okay, here she is, Kylie FBB Pro. It's going to be her pro debut. And I want to see her update pictures, which she has posted. Okay, Kylie went pro in 2023, and she is someone that I, like, always have had my eye on since then. Let me pause this. Okay, Okay, so Kylie Tibbetts is competing, and we'll just talk about her first since I already have her up. So Kylie went pro in 2023 at USA's, and this is what she's looking like right now. So I subscribe to her little like update channel. Great hourglass shape, very hourglassy. Like that's exactly the S curve they want. If anything, a little bit shoulder dominant in her front and her back pose because she needs a little more upper outer glute. But this is going to be a stellar pro debut, so I'm very excited for her. Where I think she's going to land, I am not yet sure, but I wanted to mention her. Okay, so, okay. Rhoda is in the show. Okay, let's start with who I think is going to win. So, I have a lot of people pulled up, and like I said earlier, there are a lot of pro debuts happening this weekend, and there's only a few that I'm talking about. Okay, Alice. So I think Ashlyn, Alice, and Allie are going to be our top three. Ashlyn, I think, is the obvious vote to win, based on like getting third at the Arnold, getting sixth at the Olympia last year, and then just getting second at Pittsburgh. So yeah, I think she's the obvious answer to win. However, and I think she has a great fullness. Like, I think she completely nailed the look. I would like the hair off the shoulder, and I would like her to stand up straighter and bring this arm in tighter. But I think she's angled this much to like make her waist minimized. So the feedback she's been given is to bring more density in those legs. But yeah, so I think let's look at her back pose. Yeah, this is a great back pose. I don't want to see the hands, but this is a great back pose. Alice ended up getting seventh at the Pittsburgh, but it's all about who shows up on that day. So Alice, I would just want her to straighten that arm and not have that roundness. But I think it's going to be Alice or Ashlyn, probably Ashlyn, Alice, and then I would have Allie in second, honestly. I think she really embodies the criteria in her like S curve that she has and her stage presence, like everything. Like this is exactly what they say they want for bikini. If anything, more fullness in the legs, and I think Alice and Ashlyn have her on that. So I'll probably say Allie in third, but I certainly think she can win this show. And I think her back pose is absolutely a killer. Like this is so, so good. So I would love for Allie to win. She's like my preference to win, but I would be happy for any of these people if they won. Like I don't actually have like a strong preference. But yeah, so then I think we have Rhoda. Rhoda group brings great S curve. She's just a little bit straight up and down from the back. So if she can just bring that fullness in the upper outer glute, I think that would totally like be game over for many people. So yeah, maybe she's in fourth. Who else do I have? Romina, I'm gonna say maybe fifth. Oops, who do I X out? I don't know. I don't know. Those are honestly my main people I'm looking out for. I brought up some pro debuts, so like Michelle Pribble, really great hourglass shape. I think anyone could really break out in this show. But I think it's going to be among those three, and I really want to see Kylie like even in that fifth place spot. So yeah, but some people to shout out are also Romina, obviously. I think she'll be between 5 and 7. Just needs to be tighter in these legs to match this upper body. And then Leslie Billups always brings an extraordinary look. I love the pop she gets, especially in this back pose. And she has a really great stage vibe that is hard to look away from. I feel like I'm saying the same thing for every person, but like really a lot of these people have so many things that they need. And it's just a matter of who shows up how. She could use a little more detail here and just like a little more muscle everywhere. So she has that more streamlined tightness instead of just being tight in certain areas. Christy, I'm a big fan of Christy. I love her look on stage, and she has a really great shape, like very hourglassy shape. I like the red on her too, and her hair and makeup always slays. And then in her back pose, for her, I think it's just a little more muscle in that, in the glutes. But I'm not seeing a fully posed photo here. Let's see. Let's check the Clash last year. And she consistently does very well. But yeah, just a little more fullness in these glutes because we're seeing that shallowness, especially with how high that suit is. And then China. Okay, I love China, so I think she could also be in the top 5. China just brings like a lot of spunk to stage. Love her look. Very hourglassy. She's placed as high as third in pro shows. This was Battle of the Bay where she placed third, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, third. And at her pro debut, she also placed third. So she like just started competing as a pro, and she's already like getting very high up there. with hardly even competing. Like really, really good luck. So just more size to glutes, which I'm sure she's put on some size since her last showing in December. Jessica, she came in a little hard at her pro debut, but she did win Best Poser. And like I said before, like your stage vibe and posing can really take you a long way. So I think she'll be probably in that top 8. And then, yeah, I talked about Michelle. I think we might see her in there. So yeah, those are all the people. I know I X'd someone out who is newer, I think, but I don't know who it was. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Who do I have winning? Probably Ashlyn, and then Alice, and then Allie, but I think it could really go any way. Rhoda, I think, could be 4 or 5. Romina, 6, 7. China, I think, could be 5. Yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks, guys.